You already know how important body language is. How if you look like a Chad, people respect you because you just communicate your assertiveness and the fact that you are not to be messed with. The fact that if you look like a victim, other people start treating you like a victim. Pre-verbal communication mechanisms. I'm not gonna go deeper into these things, but the way for you to look the most confident you can look, and your answer will disappoint you because this is the only way to do it, is to actually be that way. Because unless you are confident and you try to look confident, that's the most cringe thing you can do. Because people pick up on that. And let's take an example. Let's say there are two people, and this is a pretty realistic scenario that happens on a regular basis, and you might just know these persons as well. One that's extremely careless about their behavior, the way they look, the way they dress, the way they speak. And one that's very well put together, dressed up nicely, perfectly all the time, looking like a gentleman, even muscular and jacked, and having this fantastic posture. But that guy is insecure. What happens is people start labeling these two guys, the first one as being a loser maybe, and the second one as being someone to respect. But what happens when they get in a conversation with people? The first one starts showing better and better and better versions because he's truly confident, and people actually start developing real respect for the true him because he's unfiltered, he's just there being, living his life. Whereas the other one shows insecurity time and time again, mumbles and stumbles across his words, and has this victim eye contact, and not really looking people in the eye, speaking with this shy voice. And people start feeling worse and worse and worse about him, losing respect as time goes on. Who wants to be around such a person? And even worse, they realize that he just puts in all this effort just to look cool. He's just standing so straight all the time just to look cool. He sometimes tries to speak with a deeper voice, but then as the conversation goes on, the insecure version of him comes to the surface, and he starts speaking like a little child. That's just a front. Do you want people to validate the shield you put up, the image, the book cover of you, or do you want the people that are really matched to the real version of you, to really validate the real version of you? Because I believe that the second version is something much more appealing. Why would you want the validation of the masses, which is very shallow anyway and gets you basically nothing, where you could have deep friendships with fewer people, but more meaningful friendships, more meaningful bonds with people who maybe you can have around you forever? And we make this mistake time and time again. I made this mistake, definitely. I tried to improve my social skills and to seem more confident and all of these things when I was younger, and they got me nowhere. They got me some results, but I was very disappointed to see that the results are very, very shallow, and the likes on social media that I thought would just make the world, all the world problems go away, did nothing. Just spikes of dopamine, and then the dopamine level is back down. And that's just validation. That's what validation does for you. Spikes of dopamine, exactly like the likes and appreciation on social media. Very shallow aspects of life. Now, how do you actually manage to get truly confident? Is to be relaxed. There is no there is no way for me to tell you to implement these 5 tips and tricks that will finally get you to be confident and charming and attract people. The way for you to do it is completely tailored to your personality and to your style of being, of living life, to your character traits. So your confidence and all of these nice and appreciated social traits are very different than mine and than every other person's. Because that's just the nature of things. You can be confident and be reserved. You can be confident and be extremely chatty. You can be confident and say a lot of jokes, or you can be confident and never laugh. There is no how to, there is no one size fits all, and I absolutely hate people that give this advice. That yeah, you have to manspread and you have to stand up straight and you have all of these quick fixes, because truthfully there is no quick fix for this. The only way is to start working and prioritizing your relaxation, your composure, you feeling like everything's all right, like there is no threat, you feeling like you are the king of your life, from, or at least the king of your perception of life, through your authentic lens, through your unique lens that you view the world. Because that's the truth, you already are like that. And the ideal is for you to be able to prolong what you're feeling when you are home alone in every single situation of life. So in that case, there is no random anxiety when people don't laugh at your jokes. There is no random feeling like you need to talk more in order to be noticed by others. Those things don't even cross your mind, and that's a very good indicator that you are doing the right things and that you are on the proper path. Because if you have to convince yourself that you are confident, and like if there is a bit of a debate, you are not confident. It's just that simple. The only time you're truly confident is when there is no debate. It's just an obvious fact. You don't need other people to tell you that you're confident. You just know it intrinsically. You don't even know it consciously. That's why if I'm asking you, are you confident? Are you charismatic? You won't really be able to tell it. Unless you're really reflective and thinking about these things on a professional level. But if you're just living your life, you shouldn't be able to just state that, oh, I'm so cool and I'm so charismatic. That's just a sign of insecurity. And the best version of you is the one that's relaxed anyway. Because when you're tense, you oppose the energetic pools of other people. Like, I'm not really that knowledgeable in the energy domain and all of these things, but I've seen this through my experience of life. And my experience of life told me that this is definitely true. You have to be okay with all that happens. Taoists used to talk about this all the time. This is the philosophy of Taoism. You have to let things come. And the only way to be comfortable with that is when you are confident, when you are okay with everything that happens. These things go together. It's just a positive feedback loop. It makes a full circle. And it sounds pretty unsexy to maybe be convinced that you need to be in a certain way, that you need to be extremely funny, and your authentic way of being confident is actually more reserved. You might be disappointed at hearing that, but ultimately that's the only way you can live life properly. Otherwise, you will just follow random pursuits that look like shiny objects and you will never feel fulfilled. So I really hope you managed to take some advice, some value from my wisdom and my life experiences. And I hope you will be able to get on this path, because this is the right path, the only right path.